Hi guys, thanks for tuning in and welcome back to part 3 of this 3-part series on Don't Look Back in Anger. So going straight in with part 3, we're going to have a look at the iconic solo. It's one of the most important parts of the song, so we want to make sure we try and get it right. So to start this off, we're going to be at the 7th fret of the G string. We're going to have our 3 fingers here to support the bend, and we're going to bend it 3 times, up and down. We're then going to go back 2 frets to the 5th fret of the G, and then we're going to roll our index finger onto that 5th fret of the D. From there, we're then going to play that 5th fret of the D another 2 times, and on that second note we're going to hammer on up to the 7th fret of the D. From there we're going to hit the 5th fret of the G again, then we're going to play that note a second time, and then we're going to bend up on the 7th fret of our 3 fingers again, and we're going to bend it up and bring it back down. Then we're going to go back to the 5th fret of the G, then the 7th fret of the D again, then back to the 5th fret of the G. It might sound a bit confusing when I say all the notes like that, but it's going to sound like this. Playing the second phrase, it's going to sound quite similar to our first phrase, starting with our 3 finger bend at the 7th fret. We're going to bend them 3 times up and down, just like we did before. We're then going to go back to the 5th fret of the G, then roll our index finger onto the 5th fret of the D. Just like we did before. But now we're going to use our index finger to bar that D string and the G string, and we're going to hammer on our ring finger up to the 7th fret, while also letting ring out that 5th fret of the G. We're going to play that, and then we're going to play those notes by themselves again. From here, we're then going to use our ring finger to go to the 5th fret of the A string to slide up to the 7th fret. We're then going to use our index finger to play the 5th fret of the D, then go back to our ring finger on that 7th fret of the A string and slide down back to the 5th fret. And then we're going to play the 3rd fret of the A string. The second phrase slowly is going to sound like this. To play the 3rd phrase, we're going to be doing an ascending run, which is using the extension of the A minor pentatonic, and it starts at the 3rd fret, and that's the 3rd fret of the E string. We're going to hammer on up to the 5th fret. We're then going to do the same thing on the A string, and then we're going to slide that up to the 7th fret of the A string. We're then going to go to the 5th fret of the D string, up to the 7th fret, hammering on again, and then land on the 5th fret of the G. From here, we're then going to do a bend on the 7th fret of the G. We're then going to play the bent note a second time and bring it back down. Then pull off, back to the 5th fret of the G, then go to the 7th fret of the D, then back to the 5th fret of the G. From there, we're then going to use our ring finger at the 7th fret of the G, and we're going to slide it up to the 9th fret. We're then going to use our middle finger to play the 8th fret of the B string and hit that note twice. When we hit it the second time, we're going to slide it up to the 10th fret. And from there, we're then going to use our index finger to play the 8th fret of the E string. We're then going to play that note another 2 times. And we're going to hammer on and pull off on the 10th fret of the E string. In full it sounds like this. To play the 4th phrase, we're going to be doing a repeating lick. To play this, we're going to be using our index finger to bar the 8th fret of the B string and the E string. We're going to start by playing the B string at the 8th fret, and we're going to hammer it on using our ring finger up to the 10th fret. We're then going to play the 8th fret of the E string, and then repeat that. Making sure all the notes ring out. Then halfway through, we're going to play that high E string at the 8th fret an extra time, and hammer on up to the 10th fret and pull off again. And then we're going to rejoin the lick again. It's going to sound like this. So for our 5th and final phrase, we're going to be doing some unison bends in at the 15th fret. We're going to have our ring finger playing the 15th fret of the B string with our middle finger behind it to support the bend, and we've also got our index finger in at the 12th fret of the E string. It's just like our lead guitar that we did in verse 2, only this time we're going to be playing a lot more of them over and over again. Remember, we want that bend, that 15th fret of the B string, to slide up so it sounds 2 frets higher as another E note. But like I said, we're going to be playing lots of them over and over again. After that, we're then going to play a single 15th fret bend on its own, and we're going to bring it up and bring it back down again. We're then going to pull off back to the 13th fret with our index finger, and then we're going to play the 14th fret with our middle finger of the G string. We're then going to bring it back to that 13th fret of the B string, and then we're going to go back up to the 15th fret of the B string, and then we're going to bend it up. Only this time, we're now going to bring in our pinky finger, we're going to stretch it out to the 17th fret of the E string, and play that and let that note ring out. After we do that, we're then going to play our bent 15th fret on our B string, and we're going to bring it back down again. And we're going to do a series of pull-offs, and I'll just show you how that goes. So as we do that, we're going to bring down that 15th fret bend, and then pull off to the 13th fret, and then we're going to play the 15th fret again, and then pull off a second time, and then play that 15th fret of the B a third time, but then this time, instead of pulling off, we're going to go to the 12th fret of the E string. just like that. And we're going to finish off the solo with some more unison bends. Remember, we've got our middle finger and ring fingers at the 15th fret, and we've also got our index finger back at the 12th fret of the E. And for this one, you can be a bit more free with what you do with it. I quite like to play the unison bends and then play the high E string by itself. But it's up to you how you want to do this part. That's just how I prefer to do it. So now getting on to the outro, we've got some chords to finish. We're going to go around the chorus like we usually do. And then on the last time round, we're going to go C to G, and then we're going to hold on the A minor. And from here, we're then going to go to F major. Let that note ring out. Then we're going to go to F minor by taking off our middle finger from that 2nd fret of the G and barring our index finger on the 1st fret, sorry, of the G string, B string, and E strings. And then we're going to let that note ring out until Noel comes back in with the final line. I'm going to finish on a C chord. And the outro lead guitar will play over that as well. So to finish the song off, we're going to have a look at the outro riff. It's a nice little line. It's used a lot of the themes and ideas that we've talked about over the course of the 3 lessons. It's going to sound like this. So to start this, we're going to use our index finger at the 5th fret of the A string, hammering onto the 7th fret, doing the same thing on the D string, playing the 5th fret of the G, then pulling off from the 7th fret of the G back to the 5th fret, and then we're going to do one of those phrases we've heard so many times before, bending up on the 7th fret of the G, bringing it back down again, going back to the 5th fret, then going to the 7th fret of the D, and back to the 5th fret of the G. Then we're going to pull off from the 7th fret of the G string back to the 5th fret. Now this time we're going to bend up on the 7th fret again, and then we're going to hold it there, and then play the 7th fret unbent, and then go back to the 5th fret. Just like that. Then we're going to play that 5th fret of the G another time, and we're going to hammer on and pull off the 7th fret. Then we're going to do that classic diad that we've done so many times before, the D string and the G string at the 5th fret. We're going to play that and hammer on our ring finger to that 7th fret of the D, and then play the notes by themselves. Then we're going to go back to the 5th fret of the A string and we're going to play that note twice. Then we're going to hammer on to the 7th fret of the A. Then play the 5th fret of the D. Let that note ring out for a moment. And to finish, we're going to go back to that 7th fret of the A string. Slide down to the 5th fret. And then play the C to finish. Okay, that concludes my 3-part series on Don't Look Back in Anger. The only other thing to note in the song is that there's a bit of instrumental kind of improvisation going on in the final chorus. It's that kind of C major or A minor pentatonic kind of thing. Stick around that and you should be absolutely fine. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.